The Bingo Street Hotel, The Royal Visit, by Simon Witter. Available now on Amazon. Chapter 1. Mr. Strong's face was the colour of a baboon, but his expression was very calm. He looked like he was watching the Royal Ballet upside down, comfortable, but really quite uncomfortable. He nodded and listened to the voice coming from room 142, nodding and smiling whilst his hands gripped each other, ringing with the stresses. He took a deep breath, looking away from the door and back down the corridor. Did he spot his son's crop of unruly ginger hair hiding behind a fire extinguisher? It wouldn't be surprising. Alistair always seemed to be up to something. Alistair hid untidily, craning his ear to listen to the conversation and pressing his freckled face against the bright red paint of the extinguisher again. What were they saying? Is Dad angry? "Nothing to worry about here, Mr. Man," replied a dreamy voice floating down the corridor. "No need to panic, nothing is manic. Groovy is the movie round here, yeah." Mr. Strong was not feeling at all groovy. The voice from behind the door made him feel the opposite of groovy. "If I am not allowed into your room, Mr. Byzantine, could you please tell me then who did throw the television out of the window?" he asked. "Oh man, I was afraid you were going to ask. That was the bass player. He got well excited because you've got the movie channel, yeah." Astrid Byzantine, ancient rock star, naughtiest singer on the planet, and guest of the Bingo Street Hotel, had only been staying for 2 nights, but had left his mark very quickly. "Remember though, Mr. Strong, flowers hold the real power." Good gracious, Mr. Strong thought. Imagine my hotel in the hands of flowers. His eyes fell down once again on the locked door, which looked like it had taken part in an experimental art exhibition run by babies. Suddenly, however, and with a sheepish slowness, the door opened, and Astrid's face appeared. "Hello, sir." Astrid behaved like a cheeky schoolboy, shuffling backwards and away from the door. He wore hotel slippers adorned with a sewn BSH monogram, a Hawaiian shirt, and canary yellow swimming shorts. His hair looked like it had been through the spin cycle of your least favourite washing machine and then hung out to dry in the Arctic Ocean. Astrid was puzzled as Mr. Strong tiptoed into the room. He was puzzled because he was expecting the hotel manager to drop down dead on seeing the sight that met him. It wouldn't have been the first time either. Wherever Astrid travelled around the world, he left a path of destruction that could only be compared to this studio apartment of a very ill-mannered silverback gorilla. In Tokyo, the hotel manager ran screaming from his room when he decided to make morning coffee for a viper. In Amsterdam, he sent the chambermaids packing when he offered them a go on his Super XL bazooka that he'd just bought dirt cheap from a flea market. He had even made the front page of the Sunday paper in Buenos Aires when he parachuted from his window on the 62nd floor. Astrid told the reporter on the local newspaper, "The elevators are dead slow and I was ravenous for sushi." "I have had some very concerning reports from very loyal and trusted guests, Mr. Byzantine. Can you explain the glass of orange juice that was poured onto Mrs. Tremaine's balcony this morning?" Mr. Strong's hand mimed a small glass tumbling from his window downwards onto Mrs. Tremaine's manicured window box. Splash. "Ah, yes, well, Eddie, the drummer, ovs, he only likes apple juice with his brekkie, not orange. My fault." Astrid shrugged. "Must remember that in future." His puppy dog eyes gazed, as if to say, "Soz." Mr. Strong's eyes darted around the room as he catalogued the offences feverishly. Fish in the bathtub, underpants in the mini-fridge, noodles on the lampshade. He paused for a moment to consider the boomerang sticking out of the sizable slab of cheddar on the cheese board. What a waste of cheese, he thought. The gigantic wooden boomerang balanced precariously. How had he done that? But Mr. Strong tried not to think about it too much. He was itemising the disobediences when he suddenly stopped and smiled, and took a deep breath. The smile that he saved for the most troublesome guests now forced itself onto his face. He was powerless to do anything else. Mr. Byzantine, you are a valued guest. My staff shall be along shortly to assist in the restoration of your room. Can I provide breakfast, tea, coffee? Got any fruit pastels? The Bingo Street Hotel. The Royal Visit by Simon Witter. Available now on Amazon.